Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you're having a fantastic day. As always, shout out to the 19. I wanted to do a WNBA free agency update. If you caught my last video a few weeks ago, I basically broke down what was going to happen when. Now, that first period of free agency, January 11th to the 20th. So we are right smack in the middle of that. That is when teams can make offers, whether it's qualifying offers to restricted free agents or pouring a player who's unrestricted, such as Kelsey Mitchell in Indiana. They can do that as well. Then on the 21st to the end of the month, again, that is when players and teams can actually talk and negotiate. And then teams can start signing players officially on January 1st. So I wanted to go through a few of I guess the big news, the names that could make a big impact on teams, whether they stay or go. So we have the Las Vegas Aces have cored Kelsey Plum. The New York Liberty have cored Breanna Stewart. The Dallas Wings have cored Satou Sabally, as we all know, because she has said she is finished in Dallas, which means she will be traded. They will be shopping her to get some sort of deal back from another team. And another big one with the coring of Breanna Stewart, which is her second time. She was cored last year. It is the last time they can core her. But Courtney Vandersloot, their point guard, also an unrestricted free agent, so she can leave. She can go wherever she wants. She doesn't need to work out a trade to get the Liberty to send her where she wants because they can't core her. She may come back as well. We don't know, but she is free to go wherever she wants. Now, two, I guess I should say, non moves that can still happen, but haven't yet. Chicago Sky have not made a qualifying offer to restricted free agent Kennedy Carter, and the Indiana Fever have not cored Kelsey Mitchell. Now, again, to be clear, doesn't mean they won't. We still have time. But Plum, Stewart, Sabally, they were cored right away. There were a number of qualifying offers to restricted free agents as well, mainly Dallas and New York, because they both had a number of them. But remember, going back into last November, Fever GM Amber Cox, Kelsey Mitchell is our top priority heading into free agency. She, in my mind, is a cornerstone of this franchise. She's been here for 7 seasons and she has endured a lot, hasn't won a lot. So I really want her here to enjoy what is to come. She deserves that. So that is an indication that they're going to try and get things done with Kelsey Mitchell. I just think it's interesting she hasn't been cored yet, but you know what? They may be working, there may be things being worked out behind the scenes and they get a deal done. So don't be surprised if you hear sometime soon that she's been cored and then she ends up staying as an Indiana Fever. Kennedy Carter is really interesting because it seems like Kennedy Carter is getting the blame for what went on in Chicago. And the interesting thing to me, and this might shock some of you, but I do try and be fair. As you know, I'm not a fan of Kennedy Carter and her antics in the locker room, off the court, even some on the court stuff. But I have no problem admitting that she is a baller. She is one of the best scorers in the WNBA, and her play on the court can help just about any team go to the next level. But it seems as if the Chicago Sky have decided she is the scapegoat. Set aside the fact that the coach destroyed the Chicago Sky's season by deciding to focus on Angel Reese and her phony double-double streak. So, yeah, maybe behind the scenes there were some problems with Kennedy Carter, but in this instance, most likely it's because Kennedy Carter is a competitor and wanted to win. There was a video just the other day of Angel Reese and Marina Mabrey where Marina said she didn't want out of Chicago because of Angel Reese. Okay, great. B, but indirectly she did. Because she wanted out because she didn't feel the Sky was a professional organization and she wanted an opportunity to go somewhere where she could compete for a championship. Well, part of the reason Chicago Sky, not a professional organization focused on winning, is because they decided to destroy the team in order to get double doubles for Angel Reese. They decided to focus on stat padding for Angel Reese. They decided to play all their subs in blowouts except put Angel Reese back in so she could get her double doubles. We saw it time and time and time again. We even saw other teams help with it. Teresa Weatherspoon's entire focus was on Angel Reese's stats and not winning games for the Chicago Sky. And it looks like Chennedy Carter is going to pay the price for that. Although it may end up being a benefit for her where she ends up at a organization that is actually serious and not a bunch of people you would find in a clown car. So those are the big ones. So you've got, if we're going to look, frame it from a Fever perspective, we got a few things going on. First, you have, if Kelsey Mitchell is going to leave, let's say that happens. And look, she could be cord before I put this up and they'll be like, yeah, we're going to work it out. But let's say that that happens. You have Kelsey Plum, who it looks like wants out of Las Vegas. So that could be they cord her to trade her and get something back. One of the best shooting guards in the league. Chennedy Carter, one of the best shooting guards in the league. Kelsey Mitchell, one of the best shooting guards in the league. So it's wild. I think the one I'd add to get the fourth would be Breanna Stewart. And for clarification, I consider Caitlin Clark a scoring point guard. She is a point guard. So I would not put her in that category. Well, what I'm saying is for the Fever, worst case scenario, they want Kelsey Mitchell back and she decides she wants to leave. There are options out there for scoring guards, right? Plum and now Chennedy Carter. And I know it's wild to think of Chennedy Carter ending up with the Indiana Fever. And I hate to put it out there to even give the delusional Ben Daniel just the slightest bit of hope coming from a professional like myself that Chennedy Carter could end up on the Indiana Fever. But look, organizations that focus on winning, that their true goal is championships, not to compete, not to make playoffs, but to sustain a high level of play. And we're hoping with Caitlin Clark that that's now what the Indiana Fever are doing, bringing in Kelly and bringing in Amber and bringing in Stephanie White. This is a team that is looking for multiple championships while Caitlin Clark is here. And so whether it looks terrible from the outside or there are other issues, they're going to bring in players that they think can help with that, regardless of whether the player is unpopular. They're going to get rid of players if they think it helps, regardless of if they think the player is popular or not. Look, here's the thing, and this might sound harsh, and I know a lot of people aren't going to want to hear this that have become big Fever fans, but you have to understand this from the perspective of an organization whose goal is titles. On this roster, no one, no one is untouchable except for Caitlin Clark. Doesn't mean they don't have other good players. It doesn't mean they can't win with those. I love Aaliyah Boston. I love Lexi Hall. I love Kelsey Mitchell. But if the Fever think getting rid of any of them in a trade is going to move them closer to a championship, a winning organization does exactly that. If they think bringing in Chennedy Carter is going to get them a championship, they will do it, as wild as it sounds. And let's face it, picture the scene at Gamebridge, first home game of 2025. They've made some other moves. Maybe they've signed Satou Sabally. Maybe they've traded Melissa Smith. The place is rocking. They're wanting a championship. It's sold out as usual. Chennedy Carter and Caitlin Clark walk onto the court as Indiana Fever teammates. Tell me that's not a story. Go ahead, I dare you. But anyway, I just wanted to touch base and kind of update on where we are with some of the free agency stuff. I'll keep following it. It'll be interesting to see if when Kelsey Mitchell gets cored. I mean, look, she's got to get cored because even if she's going to go, they would have to core her in in order to trade her and get something of value. To that note, I'll leave you with another thing too. In the Sabally case, is don't give too much, folks. Teams who want her have to be careful because one in 5 years she's played a full season one time, not even close any of the other times. Although to be fair, wait, one of those years was a more limited season. But she's had a lot of injuries. You don't know what you're going to get. Most likely it's going to be a 1 year deal, especially with the CBA expiring. So you don't want to give up a ton because there's a little bit of risk there. You may get her for one season in which she only plays half the games, if that, and then that's it. So you don't want to give up a lot. In addition, when you're talking about the Indiana Fever, everyone is hoping that Nalissa Smith gets replaced in the starting lineup, that they bring someone in of that quality. But don't forget, this is a team that also needs a bench. One of their biggest problems last season was no depth. Now, partially, it wasn't all because of not having enough talent. It was also a Christy Sides issue. So I get that. But because all those games started by Christy Wallace while Lexi Hull sat the bench. Celeste Taylor would have been a great option to have for depth, but she never played, and then they cut her and got nothing. Feg Benley was hurt a lot, and now Feg Benley's gone. Katie Lou was not herself last year, so you hope she can return to form. But the Fever have to look at more than just, say, making a splash and getting someone good enough that can be in the starting lineup. They need to add some depth as well. So I'm going to leave it there. Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below. Appreciate you checking out this video as always. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to you later.